Hi everyone, Ryan here with Fight Game Analysis, and today we are going to be talking about the upcoming fight between Khabib Nurmagomedov and Justin Gaethje. But before we jump into that, if you've been enjoying the content, please go ahead and smash on that like button and also subscribe to the channel. Really appreciate your support. Alright, UFC 254 main event, Nurmagomedov versus Gaethje. This is the fight, the one we've all been waiting for. I mean, we wait for every Khabib fight now, but this one feels a little bit different, a little bit electric. This one's gonna be special. Say what you want, but I'm buying into the hype. I believe Justin Gaethje is the most dangerous opponent that Khabib has ever faced. Every fight that Khabib goes into at this point, it is just huge. From the actual fight game perspective, he's just got this dominating style that's built up this almost mythological status. So when you go in there, it's like the legend of Khabib is on the line every time. And it just adds to this huge pre-fight buildup. And you've got Justin Gaethje who, yeah, I mean, he's got some losses in his background, but he just kind of dialed it in. And he has been on this run lately where he is at the absolute top of his game. And there's a reason that a lot of people are saying he's the most dangerous opponent for Khabib. And I'm saying that as well because I really believe it. He is locked in. The way he's training, the way he's fighting, the way his coaches are getting to him and giving him these game plans, he has been looking good. And this fight is huge. So let's start out. Take a look at Justin Gaethje, the challenger. Gaethje's a unique fighter. The reason I say that about him is because usually when a guy gets to this level, the absolute top, you're fighting for the belt, you are fighting the man in Khabib Nurmagomedov. Usually a guy has something that's really special about him. And it's easy to see, it's easy to pick out, kind of like his go-to move, whatever it may be. And that's not Gaethje's story. Doesn't have the size, doesn't have the speed, doesn't have the power. You don't see any of those things in him. He's not known as a guy with outstanding striking technique or outstanding grappling technique, anything like that. But he does everything very well. But the one thing that he does have that really sets him apart, kind of this intangible in his style, is the way he creates exchanges. He refers to them as car crashes, right? Refers to himself as the most violent man in MMA. And I get it. When you watch him fight, you can see he's got this style where he doesn't wait. A lot of guys are downloading a lot of data. They're looking at things. They're lining it up. They're moving, trying to create angles. And when the time's right, bam, they strike. They get in there and they make it happen. And it looks great. It's a beautiful thing, especially when the guy is at the absolute highest level of his art. But that's not the way Gaethje does things. Gaethje forces the action. He doesn't wait for it to be right. He makes his move, makes it right, gets in there. And when he does, he just has this way with his violence of action, of coming out ahead. Gets in these exchanges, forces things, comes out on top. Gets guys in positions and situations that they don't want to be in. And that's where he shines. And he has ways of dragging everybody into those spots. Now, as far as looking at specifics of what he does that I really like the right hand. He's got a really educated right hand. Can throw it a lot of different ways from a lot of different angles. In his most recent example, we saw it as the primary weapon that he absolutely dismantled Tony Ferguson with. And the other thing that I love is his low kick. He comes in there and he uses it in this chopping fashion that just, you can tell every single time it lands that guys feel it. And he can use it from a distance. It's something most guys aren't used to dealing with because he can get in close and still shoot that leg kick. And guys aren't used to defending it from there because most people can't throw it from there. So when he gets in there and then he throws it, man, he gets a clean shot with it. And guys feel it when he just digs that shin bone right into their thigh. Other than that, he is an all-American wrestler. We haven't seen him use his wrestling that much, but he does possess the credentials. So we'll have to wait and see how they stand out in this fight because they absolutely will be tested. Now, the champion, Khabib. I mean, what's there to say about this guy, right? I made a video. Check it out. Put the link up here. You can click on it where I just break down a few of the positions that he likes to use in his grappling. I mean, it's no stretch of the imagination to say Khabib is an absolute master grappler. So I just took a few of the positions that he really likes, goes to, break them down in this video in some real detail. Please go ahead and check it out. Give you some background on what he likes to do, where he likes to be. I'm not going to go into all of it in this one here. But like I said, just suffice to say, Khabib is an absolute master grappler. The top of the food chain. But it's not just his grappling. It's the style of his grappling, number one. He comes out there from the mountains of Dagestan, and they've got this way of doing things that's a little bit different than what you see in American wrestling, collegiate wrestling. So it's stuff that guys, even if they're NCAA Division I, just out there smashing people, they get to the Olympics even, it's a different style. You're not used to it. He's doing things in ways that you're not quite ready for. And, you got film on him, don't get me wrong. So, when we watched the UFC Countdown, we could see that Gaethje had high-level wrestlers in there hooked up with his old college wrestling coach, and they were specifically working the positions that Khabib likes. So I get it. You can see it. You can work for it. You can train it. But that is not the same as coming up against a guy who's been doing it his entire life. Oh, and he's the best at doing it. Oh, by the way, he's the best at doing it. And he's been doing it for his entire life. And as far as the striking goes, we've definitely seen it get better. We have seen Khabib striking grow since he's been in the UFC. It used to be something he would never use. He was just pushing forward super hard, trying to get the takedown, forcing it, and then mauling guys, all the way up into where it's at now, where he clocked Conor with a clean right hand, dropped him. So we've seen a lot of growth there. Is he going to win a kickboxing match against Gaethje? I mean, probably not. But guess what? He didn't sign the contract for a kickboxing match with Gaethje. He signed a contract for an MMA match. And he no longer looks like a fish out of water when it comes to striking. I believe he feels a lot more confident in it. It's something that his opponents have to worry about. So the question comes down to, what's it going to look like when the bell actually rings and these two square off? I don't think it's really that hard to predict how it's going to look at first. I think Gaethje's going to be moving around. He's going to be trying to gauge the distance. Obviously doesn't want to get too close to Khabib, particularly too early. So he'll kind of bounce around and see what's going on. And Khabib will move forward. He's going to be cautious as well, moving forward and initially try to work behind some strikes, probably throw some jabs out there. But Gaethje will definitely make the first move. He's going to come in and I think he's going to try to land a hard leg kick to really set the tone. I think he's going to have a great game plan. And I think the reason for that, the wild card in this fight, is his coach, Trevor Whitman. Trevor Whitman has a brilliant fighting mind. I've watched him over the years. I've listened to the way he talks to the fighters. And it just clicks, man. He just gets it. And he gets his people ready. When his guys come in there to fight, they are absolutely prepared. So he's been studying Khabib for a long time. And I think he's got a fighter in Gaethje that really listens to him and is able to do everything. So I think he's going to have a great game plan for him. I think he's going to, he's really going to try to land a hard leg kick early to set the tone. He hasn't been shy about the fact, Gaethje has not been shy about the fact that he wants to get in there and hit Khabib's legs and hit him hard. On the Joe Rogan podcast, I think he mentioned he wants to land like 8 of them. I think that's what he said is all he needs to completely change the fight. So I think he wants to get that first one off early. Okay, and I think he's going to do it by using lateral movement, a lot of side-to-side movement, and also some in-and-out movement. And he's going to really try to throw off Khabib's rhythm. He's not going to let him get started. Khabib's a guy who has to move forward to get his momentum, to build into his takedowns. It's where he feels comfortable striking. And I think he's going to try to get him to start and stop a lot by moving in, using feints, sometimes throwing strikes, backing out, and just try to get Khabib to start and stop, try to turn him a lot when Khabib puts that front foot down, make him move and pivot all the time, that kind of stuff, being really light on his feet and getting those strikes off when he can. Now, it'll work. I think Gaethje's the superior striker. He'll get those strikes off. He will get the better of those exchanges. But it's not like he's going to do that the whole fight. It's going to stop Khabib from getting a takedown or, nothing ridiculous like that. But he'll do that and he'll win. But here's the other thing. If you look, Khabib does his best work with grappling when he's up against the cage. I think the other part of Gaethje's plan is going to be to stay in the middle of the octagon, force Khabib to lock up and try to get his takedowns in space in the middle of the octagon. And when Khabib gets that takedown, as soon as Gaethje hits the ground, I think he's going to try to really explode, really cause a scramble, and really try to get to an advantageous position or get up before Khabib even gets to the spot that he wants to get to. Because if you let Khabib get to his spot, get his hands locked, get you up against the cage, get your feet locked the way he likes to lock them up with his legs. If you let him get there already, man, it is already too late. Trying to get out of that position is brutal. It's horrible. And those are the positions that he trains all the time. You know, you've already lost if you've gotten there. So I think Gaethje's game plan is going to be to keep it in the middle because Khabib just does phenomenal work when he's up against the cage. Now, look, I know easier said than done. A lot of people have game plans, but I think Gaethje's going to be able to implement it successfully, especially at times. I think he's going to see a lot of success using those basic plans. Now, Khabib, on the other hand, you know, I think he's going to be able to get his takedowns. And when he does, I think he's going to be able to do, when he gets them and he holds them down, which won't be all the time, Gaethje will be able to get up, but I think he'll be able to do the traditional work that he does. I think he'll look very good in spots, very dominant. Gaethje will get some of the better upper hand on the striking. Khabib will get takedowns and get up, land a few strikes here and there and look good. But I think it'll be a lot of back and forth. It'll be a really tough fight. You know, a few of the intangibles that I worry about, I guess, one is obviously Khabib's father died recently. How's he going to handle that? It'll be the first time he's not in his corner. I mean, not the first time he's not in his corner. I know that happened before, but it'll be the first time that he's actually, not here. This is the first fight that Khabib's having after his father passed. You know, how did he handle all that? I mean, if you just look at him, I want to say the man's a rock, that he's an absolute stone, that it's not going to make that big of a difference. But we all know about how big of a figure his father was in his life. So it very well could be just that little bit of something. Take that focus off just a little bit, make that little bit of difference. I don't know. We'll see. You know, and the other thing is, when you're at the absolute top, when you're at the pinnacle, where you're at, where Khabib is, not only has he had the belt now, but people have thought about him as the absolute top of the division for a while. When you're that guy, people are plotting and planning on you. Everybody is thinking of a plan on how they're going to beat you. Even when they don't have a fight booked for you, you're on people's mind because you're so dominant. They know that they're going to have to go through you to get the belt. Well, that's Khabib. So Trevor Whitman has a plan there. He's been working on it for a long time. Justin Gaethje has been thinking about Khabib for a long time. That's dangerous. When you have to turn back every challenger and guys have just been sitting there thinking about how they're going to beat you for a while, and every time it's just a new guy for you. All the new challengers just coming for the title, trying to knock you off the top of the mountain. So those are two dangerous things that Khabib has to deal with. Now, all that being said, I'm going with Khabib on this one. I can't pick against the guy. He always finds ways to do it. We were talking about how dangerous Conor McGregor striking is going to be and everything else. But I'm taking him. Going with Khabib. He's going to find a way to make it happen. That being said, I'm not putting anything on it. You look at the odds, he's like neg 320, neg 330 or something going into this one. I don't like those odds. I think Gaethje could easily find a way to come out with a victory on this one. It is a very dangerous fight, so even though I'm going with him, I'm definitely staying away from it in that regard. But man, I cannot wait. The feeling is just, it's like the electricity's in the air for this one. So let me know what you guys think.